Well, welcome everybody. Happy Friday. This is the Rising Tide Digital Hospitality LinkedIn Live series. We meet every Wednesday, every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. London time, wherever you are in the world. We hope you join us. We believe no one's coming to tell your story. We are all storytellers. We are all in the hospitality business. We are all in the digital business. And we're all just trying to find an incredible way using a platform like LinkedIn to connect globally. So thank you for listening. If you're listening, please join us live. You can follow Cali BBQ Media on LinkedIn to get a link to the room. You can email me, Sean, at calibbq.media. I will email you a link. We can add you to the Google Calendar. Whatever it is, it's always better with more voices. We want to hear your story. We want to learn about you. We want to introduce you to the community. And today we are going to be talking about your alternate career path. So if you were not doing what you are doing now, what would you be doing? But before we get into that, we're going to go around the room, introduce ourselves, take 60 seconds, let us know who are you and what do you believe and where in the world are you dialing in from, signing in on. Elizabeth, go ahead.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Elizabeth here. I am in Greenville, South Carolina. And I am a motion graphic designer, but I'm specialized mainly in creating animated GIFs for people to use across social media and teaching them how they can harness their community through these fun little nudges and animations. I'm a verified artist with Giphy, and Giphy is serving up 10 billion GIFs daily to 1 billion users daily. So every time people type in that little GIF search, what if your product, your service, your thought leadership is what they find when they get there to this weird little place? Anyway, I am working today on creating a magic wand in animation with little sparks flying out of it. So that's where I'm at. Back to you, Sean.
Awesome. Magic wand. I love it. I didn't know you could have animated emojis on Slack. I was this week years old when I learned that. So apparently, it's another desktop problem, mobile problem. You can do it from a desktop, but you can't do it from mobile. So this mobile discrimination needs to end. I don't know who I need to talk to at Slack to
You
end
work
the
with a
mobile
lot of desktop people now, Sean. I hate to say it.
That's fine. I have no problem with you guys using it.
Yeah,
I just
but
don't want to. I just want
we get the
access
fun
for
tools, though, is
all.
what
I
I'm
want
saying.
access. I want access for the mobile only users. Michael
Love
or
that.
Stover, you're up.
Hey, hi everyone. My name is Stover. I'm Chief Storytelling Officer for Cali BBQ Media. I am not Chief Recording Officer because I recorded one of these rooms recently, and you can hear me working throughout the second half because my mic was still on. So that was interesting. So I'm happy to have Elizabeth here helping with that. And thank you, everyone. And I lost my train of thought. My son just walked in. I'll come back.
No worries, Stover.
Oh
Michael.
yeah, I'm a dad too. I always forget to mention that.
Yes, you're a dad, an amazing dad. Michael, you're up.
Thank you. Michael Baseglia, producer, Cali BBQ Media, working on some digital hospitality content that we'll be putting out next week and learning some really cool stories along the way. It's been really fun to listen to for me personally, kind of reshape and rethink the way I'm viewing things. I'm in Middletown, New Jersey. I think I said that already. And I'm believing in my New York Mets, who have given me the best baseball ride maybe of my life. So that's what I'm firmly believing in right now. For the first time ever, I actually believe in them.
I believe our San Diego Padres will be playing your New York Mets. That's what I believe. So
there's a lot of happy sports talk lately with everyone. I'm excited.
Go Guardians.
As a Portland Oregonian, I don't have any happy team stuff to share.
Well, we usually don't have much to celebrate in San Diego when it comes to sports, so we'll take any opportunity we can.
Same with my team. I understand.
All right, Michael. Gavin, you're up.
Yeah, the sports civil war at Cali BBQ is going to be very interesting. So we need the Padres to win tonight to make sure that becomes a reality. I'm Gavin, podcast producer for Cali BBQ Media. Moonlighting right now is daddy daycare with a kid who's homesick. But yeah, right. Lawyer webinars into really interesting and engaging YouTube content. So that's what we'll be working on today. And really quickly on the Slack discussion with Giphy, I do like their integration, but the only way to use Giphy on Slack, it does a shuffle method. You can't pull the exact GIF you want. So you type in Michael Scott and you kind of get a randomized Michael Scott GIF. So it's pretty cool, but not exactly how I'd want it. All right, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Gavin. Jason Berkowitz on a Friday.
Hello.
What's up, Jason?
What's up?
What's going
Jason
on?
David Berkowitz, longtime restaurant
Jason,
operator.
Jason what?
David.
Oh, I never heard the Jason David.
Sean, what's the middle one for you?
Come on, it's P. You guess. You're on the
Peter.
spot now.
Paul.
Nope.
I'm trying to think of Bulgarian.
It's definitely not Bulgarian.
Peter, Paul, Pirate, Papa,
we'll pass.
Philip, Sean Phil.
It is Philip. It's Sean.
It
Phillip.
is. I knew. I didn't know that. Why would I know that?
Yeah,
Sean Philip Walshak.
I'll share a story at some point about my middle name, but not today. Go ahead, Jason.
Well, here's fun. I get Jason David Berkowitz. I love getting stopped coming into the country in New York or various times when they look at me and they're like, Berkowitz, son of Sam Berkowitz, as we know, the serial killer. My grandfather was Sam, and David Berkowitz, I think, was his name. And obviously, my middle name's David. So people like to have fun with that, stopping me at customs and things like that more than once. And in addition, I am also a restaurant operator partner and founder of Arrow Up Training. We help restaurants develop supervisors into leaders that build culture, lower liability, and turnover. That's my career.
Thank you, Jason. David Berkowitz. Just watched Mindhunters with a lot of scenes of Berkowitz, and I don't think you're a serial killer, Jason.
I don't think I am either. And he sucked. I mean, this random idea of just like
Jason, do you
going
do
up to
training
people.
in serial killing?
Second rule of Accountability Club, Richard. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about that training.
Wait, who sucked? Berkowitz sucked as a serial killer?
Yeah, he was just kind of lame. He just walked up and like randomly killed people, shot people and stuff like that. It was just pure mayhem and fear. There was no skill in that I'm supporting any sort of any style of this. I'm just saying
You're
to be
digging a hole,
associated with
Jason.
one.
You're digging a hole.
Are we talking about alternate career paths?
We are.
I do own a funeral. I am fourth generation funeral
Jason,
director, son.
Jason, aka Dexter Berkowitz.
Jason, did you see I updated the calendar with the name of this room?
I did, and that's actually I'm not going to be able to be here the whole time, but I had to make sure I stopped by to support and appreciate that you did that.
Thank you, and that makes me want to do it again. Yeah, now I want to do it again.
Thank you.
I'm just letting you know that you literally were in my mind as I was changing that.
And I want to give you the positive reinforcement. It means a lot. I really did appreciate it.
When do you have to leave, Jason, so we can hear about your alternative? Because I got to hear Jason's story, because the more that Jason shares, the better the stories get. So
I'm here. I'm here for a little bit.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay, good.
Before
right,
11,
good.
I'm here. Bye.
All right, Richard. Who are you? What do you believe? Where are you?
Good evening. I'm Richard. I believe in a mindset of don't be boring, and I have a business that reflects that, doing branding, coaching, mentoring. I'm also the self-proclaimed cultural ambassador to digital hospitality. And for a minute, I thought Sean was going to be in London on the weekend, but sadly not. The NFL is. But Sean, we're going to move into advanced English by looking at slang. And in East London, there is a terminology called Cockney rhyming slang. And instead of using a word, you use a couple of other words. So, for example, I've said, Sean, you need to go up the apples and pears. What do I mean?
What did you say before that? Cockney, rhymey, what?
Cockney rhyming slang. So Cockney is an expression for people that live in East London, and they have their own slang. And the advanced one is they will say things like, you need to go up the apples and pears, which is rhyming for stairs.
Rhyming for stairs. You need to go up the apples and pears. Cockney rhyming.
Yes. Cockney rhyming slang. So we're going to do one Cockney for the next few weeks.
Slang. Okay.
Cockney rhyming slang. So you'll often, well, let's not use the example of Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins, who did the worst English accent of all time. But he was trying to be a Cockney by using expressions like "go up the apples and pears." So we will continue our English lesson on Wednesday next week.
Can you spell Cockney?
Cockney. Be careful if you put it into Google Images.
Cockney. Got it. Brilliant. Thank you, Richard. Cockney rhyming slang. Dean LeBay, what do you got?
I ain't got much. Dean LeBay calling or talking to you from New Orleans. Everything's good down here. I'm in the restaurant equipment business. I did want to ask Jason real quick. I don't know how good your culinary skills are, but just from what you said so far, do you do, you know how Sean did the box opening and he does all these other thing opening? Do you ever do any box openings?
I do not, and it's funny enough. I tried to do one the other day. And my husband was like, "The place looks terrible. You're not doing it. We're moving." So an unboxed opening that turned into a ruckus turned into, I'm going to look at a place on Sunday to potentially a house
Well,
because of our space didn't look good enough for an unboxing video.
well,
No,
listen,
stop it. This is a great
well,
story. That is
listen.
phenomenal.
Let me
Where's
take.
that video? Where does that video live?
No, he knocked the camera out of my hand, literally.
That is
Sunday,
good.
1 o'clock, I will be looking at a place. Go on. Sorry, Dean.
No, what I was going to say is, Dexter Russell is a knife company, and if you have any culinary skills, I'll send you a Dexter Russell, and you can say, hey, this is Jason Dexter, whatever Berkowitz, and put a little, I don't know, a little pizzazz in your cutting skills, and do some B2B marketing there, out there, uh, pumping chops for Dexter Russell Knifing Company. Just a thought. Anyway.
I'll take
Uh,
one. Send me
I,
the knife. I'll take it.
I'll tell you what, I'm definitely moving into creepy territory, and you cannot pick your name on the playground. I have stepped into something. Thank you, Dean.
Oh, well, hey, we all have fun here. Anyway, my name's Dean LeVay. I'm in New Orleans. I'm in the restaurant equipment business. I'm glad to be here. Rising tide lifts all ships. Thanks, Sean.
Appreciate you, Dean LeBay. Heather Cox Codes. Go for it.
Hey everybody, Heather Cox Codes, social media manager and strategy. Been doing it for 15 years. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm tired of shit. Bye.
We're happy that you're here. Thank you, Heather. Eric Farrell, go for it.
I can't follow that. That was funny, Heather. That was great. Eric Farrell. I'm the founder of thewordkitchen.com. I help hospitality brands and food tech companies write better and tell better stories and do better email marketing. And I'm tired too. I've had a heck of a week. My dad's been in the hospital, but I think he's going to get out today. And they did something yesterday and fixed it, and he's going to be fine. So that's good.
Awesome. Happy to hear that, Eric. Thank you. Michael Beck, Surviving Milton. Michael Beck.
I'm a survivor, right? Yeah.
Thank you for keeping us updated with the amazing smartphone storytelling on YouTube and Facebook.
Thank you.
Very happy that everything's okay. Well,
Awesome.
It's not okay, but it could have been much worse. So
yes, and thank you anybody who followed along for the journey. I'm just gonna say it, I'm a little bit concerned about the talk track here today. The fact that people offered Jason a knife called Dexter to get some cuts in, and we've shared middle names also. Every serial killer has 3 names, right? It's their first, they always call it out, David Allen Chapman, right? And so now Jason has been named. They've offered him a blade, and making cuts has all been talked about.
what's your middle
I'm worried
name,
about
Michael?
you, Jason.
What's your middle name, Michael?
Me too.
Michael, did we lose you? Oh no, I asked him his middle name and Milton got him. Michael, we're here. You don't need to share your middle name. It's okay. This is a circle of trust, so don't worry about your middle name. Whenever you can unmute, come on back. Scott Turner, mic is yours. Go for it.
Hi everyone, Scott Turner, founder Auden Hospitality. We're rewriting the rules of Hotel F&B. Going to be in Texas in a couple of weeks. It's getting closer. I've been working on the keynote today to submit to them there as well, and then looking forward to coming over to the West Coast as well to hang with you guys as well.
What do you mean submit to them? What are you submitting?
Oh, the presentation that we're going to be showing.
Why do you need to submit that?
Because they have to have time to get it all done with their AV guys to get it up on the stage once we once we do it, because I'm going to be on the F&B Theatre, which is it's going to be with the hospitality show as well. So they've got a big production and stuff. So we've done some keynote slides with an F&B report that we're doing and stuff like that. So we've had to submit it so they can. There's some video on there and bits and pieces and stuff as well. And there's going to be a showcase of telling stories as part of it. And one of the things we put up there is the TikTok account for Cali Barbecue on there as well, with your 1.1 million views as a great example of telling stories. So yeah, I'm excited to share that and some other bits about how to make hotel F&B cool.
Wow, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Scott Turner.
Can you guys hear me now?
We can now. I
Hey.
asked you for your middle name and you just left. You're like,
Oh, I thought, oh, gosh, no, I thought I'd answered.
No, you didn't. Go for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and the middle name is Terrence, though.
Michael Terrence Beck.
Yeah, and I'll tell them. Yes,
Okay.
no, that actually, there's a serial killer initial right there too. There's a funny story I'll tell another day about the time I got my middle name wrong for my entire life until TSA let me know about it. Anyway, so I believe in family. I believe in random acts of kindness, and I believe in pattern interrupts and authenticity, and I believe in surviving. And so, anybody that followed along for the journey this last week through the hurricane, thank you for giving me a place to talk about it and get off my chest. Sometimes talking about things is just as therapeutic as anything else. And so thank you for letting me share that with you guys. I am the CEO and founder of Ink Tank GTM. We help companies crack the code on everything about go-to-market when it comes to selling, getting your sales operations down, your carving out the SOM, the serviceable attainable market, and really targeting your customers, and then helping the tech companies out there create the right strategic partnerships that are going to help them grow. Sorry, I went right into commercial mode, but I'm rusty out of being out of circulation for a week. This has been really weird.
You're all good. Welcome back. We're happy to have you.
Thank you so much. I am literally very happy to be here.
Well, we are too, for sure.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Mercedes, go ahead. 60 seconds.
Mercedes calling in from sunny San Diego, Director of Sales and Events for the Wood Group in Pacific Beach. And then I'm also the VP of Education and Programs for HSMAI. And we have a big event coming up with the Smoothie Showdown. So any locals, come to see ya. Today I'm working on a lot of new things for the venue. We're looking at our marketing strategy and how we're going to roll out. So that's a fun time happening on this side.
Awesome. Thank you, Mercedes. Laura Wilbur, welcome. Mike is yours. Go for it.
Hello from the Nashville airport. Just heading home to San Diego after the Create conference for emerging restaurant brands. It was so much fun. Got to hang out with our friend Troy Hooper. Not sure if he's joining the call, but I think he's going to Murfreesboro today, maybe. But I help connect expense account diners with great restaurants when they're traveling for official company business. It's a guest acquisition and retention solution for restaurants who are looking for more traffic early and midweek and higher check averages. And our partners at Technomic shared on the main stage about the concerning trend about traffic continuing to be down at restaurants and how inflation is really causing consumers to go out to eat less. And then at DeNovo, last thing about the work for the intro is that we just came out with our State of Business Dining report. So the bright spot is that while consumers are pulling back, expense account diners are going out more and spending more. So if anyone on the call wants a copy of that report, I'm happy to send it to you. And I also believe, that showing up is 80% of success, and being intentional about showing up and do it with consistency. Back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Laura. And welcome, everybody. Anybody down below that wants to join us, we see you. If you're just listening, that is all good. Summer, Mark, Justin, Joe, Simon. Thank you, James, for recording. We appreciate it. Today, we're going to talk about what was your alternate career path. So if you weren't doing what you were doing, what would you be doing? I guess I'll start. I don't talk about it a lot. I have mentioned it a few times, but I love sports entertainment. I thought that I was going to be a sports attorney, sports entertainment attorney at one point. My license plate for my first car in high school was NBANSD. That's National Basketball Association in San Diego. For those that don't know, my goal and dream, and I guess it's still a goal of mine. How it will happen, I don't know. But I would love to see the NBA come to San Diego. I would love to see the NFL come back to San Diego. I would love to see San Diego have a better arts theater, civic center. Our opera house is a joke. Where we house theaters is a joke. Lots of things that I think can be better in San Diego, but if it comes back to what was my alternate career path, I thought I was going to go into law school. My grandfather is a medical doctor. Telling him that I was studying sociology at the University of Colorado did not make him happy. He didn't know what were you going to do with a sociology degree. I studied. I thought I did well enough to get good scores on the LSATs, but I didn't. I got rejected by all three law schools. So I have all three law school rejection letters from schools here in San Diego that I have framed here in my office. So I don't know if that was the career path, but apparently it wasn't the career path for me. So that's my quick story. Elizabeth, what was your alternate career path, or what would it have been? Or what do you wish it would have been?
Well, first off, a cat just brought a bird into the church. Anyway, we have a church cat that deals with church mice, but apparently she also deals with church birds, and she just brought us one. But thankfully, it did not make it, so we don't have to chase it around. Anyway, that's where I'm at right now. Okay, so what alternate paths, etc. So I was probably 11 years old, and we were making our big move. I grew up in West Palm Beach, Florida, and my father was installed as a pastor here in South Carolina. But we were in this U-Haul. My mom had to stay because she was finishing up a college semester, and we were in the front of the U-Haul. It was my dad, my sister, and our dog. And there was a huge mudslide. And so we had to we were sitting there for hours and hours. And so you have to entertain yourself. And my dad said to me, "Oh, Elizabeth, why don't you sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but I want you to pretend to be an opera singer." And so I just put on my best fake opera singer voice, and and he was shocked. My sister started making fun of me, which is what sisters do. And my dad leaned over to her and he said, "Don't you ever make fun of your sister singing ever again." And I was like, what's happening right now? Anyway, and so she never did, by the way. But I went on to school, and in between choir, etc., just really knew that there was the music side of what I was into. Here in Greenville, we have it was before charter schools kind of were charter schools, but we had one for the fine arts and performing arts. And so I auditioned. So my last 2 years of high school, half of my days were spent with getting trained in voice and in music theory and stuff. So I ended up getting one of 4 scholarships to Asbury University, where I was at, and became a soloist for them, but totally fell in love with the music theory side of things. So as far as alternate careers, it could be, because I still have friends that are in opera doing amazing things. Richard and I got to hear my friend Norman, who I sang with in college, perform on stage at the London Coliseum. And it was, he's top notch, like awesome.
Beautiful.
But he's now teaching at Northwestern in Chicago, which is super cool. He loves to teach. So he's doing that. But I always thought I might become a professor, music theory, because I really loved teaching people about it, music history, etc. So even though I can do the opera side, it's rare that the voice people actually do the theory side. Normally it's just performance. So anyway, professor, music theory, I think that would have been an alternate dream job. So back to you, Sean.
That's awesome. Very cool. Thank you, Elizabeth. Michael.
Yeah, so I always wanted to do play-by-play in sports. I did it a little bit and realized the tedious amounts of grind and work. So I pivoted and went into podcast production, which I love. But I kind of want to segue all of that because A couple years ago, I now do it as an adjunct side as a podcast professor. And I had no experience going into teaching. I had never taught anybody in my life and was pretty anxious about going into it, and was scared. But I knew podcasting, I knew production, and I ended up falling in love with teaching. I find it to be one of the most rewarding things I have ever done, which I never would have thought. I never, in my wildest dreams, have thought of that. So I say all that to kind of backtrack that I think if I wasn't doing essentially what I'm doing now on a more full time basis, I think I would kind of go back into teaching. But this isn't something I always had like the dream of when I was little, or thought it was something I wanted to get into with education. But now, kind of seeing when it clicks for people, I think that's really like the most unique part of it. I think it surprises people when you go into production and podcasting in particular, audio and video, and you tell them all the things that are involved. It's a little surprising. But when you see like the light bulb go off for students, is really one of the most rewarding things I didn't really know would happen. So with that in mind, I probably think I would pursue something bigger, fuller time, teaching. What that might be, I don't know, but I really find it rewarding to see it like when it clicks for people. It's really cool.
That's awesome. Great stuff, Michael. Gavin?
Yeah, and that's a really cool story, Michael. My background is in sports radio and podcasting as well. So, and I got into that because of my passion for sports. Um, my alternate career path would basically be a speech pathologist. When I was a kid, I had trouble saying R's, like a lot of kids do, and so that was kind of my first introduction to anyone in a medical field, was working with speech pathologist, and was able to conquer that. And I remember being really young and thinking that was such a cool career. And I didn't even really know what a career was at that point, but and then I'm 36 now. About 7.5 years ago, I found out I had a brain tumor, and luckily it was benign. We were able to get it out. But one of the things that happened from having, it's called an acoustic neuroma, was I have some partial facial paralysis. So I ended up back at a speech pathologist to kind of relearn how to speak. Um, so that was obviously incredibly impactful again. So I know that an alternate path would have been to dive into the medical field, into speech pathology, seeing the impact you have on people. So I have a really big heart for that. And whether it was that, speech pathology, or like an MRI tech, which is how I got diagnosed, that would be kind of where I would have dove into. And it's something I'm really passionate about.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you, Gavin. We're happy that everything worked out because we're grateful to have you on the team, man.
Thank you.
Jason Berkowitz, alternate career path that isn't serial killer.
That isn't serial killer. I think I'm going to pick up on, and I really appreciate this theme of medical almost and helping others. And to kick this off with a little story, I think I'm 15 years old, playing playing JV soccer in Cleveland, Ohio, and I completely remember this fantastic moment. And left fullback, and guys racing, passes everybody with the soccer ball, racing towards the goal, and I slide steal one of the greatest moves I've ever pulled off in my life. It was out of body. It definitely wasn't me or my skill level. I'm sorry, Richard, football, but yes, soccer. And was able to steal the ball, take it, get it back, passed it off, literally got it up to the midfielder who took it to the forward and scored. I mean, it was one of the best, 60 seconds of sports. And I get up and I am running past the cheerleaders. I mean, I give Shari Yasowitz a look of, that's right. And I swear to God, in my memory, I even did the finger pointing of like the guns of like, that's how cool I am in this moment. And in that exact moment of hubris, my back freezes up. And it's literally jogging of I got everything going right for me. I go down and back spazzes up. I literally fold backwards. Cut to Shari Asowitz can't even look me in the eye as the ambulance takes me away because I literally couldn't walk, which then went down a path of back spasms that every year I would literally freeze up for 30 days or something. That would be terrible. Move through Stomp, move through being a literal professional dancer in LA, traveling with Stomp and doing stuff, to not till I was 27. And I would go down every year. Not till I was 27 did I meet this fantastic Bonnie Pruden myotherapy, trigger point therapy that literally got me up and walking every time. And by working on myself, I've not gone down since. Well, this trigger therapy has helped me, I've realized, with multiple things, from back spasms to arms to legs to I would literally help so many people in the restaurant industry, busters and runners that have phantom pains. I would line them up before work as a server and work on their shoulders and knees and different parts just by pressing on the right point and having them stretch and immediately get rid of their pains. It has helped me with prostatitis, which, men we talk about, right? Which is inherited, all of this stuff. And I still wake up once a week saying, I'm going to, and I haven't put a business plan together of like a quick fix where people could pop in and get help, because so many people, 10,000 people a month search to help with their back spasms or pains. And there's so many people in pain that they're taking drugs and other things that can absolutely help them. So I still think, and I still wake up every week saying, I'm going to figure out how to spend my time helping people who hurt, helping veterans with so much pain. And that I know is a secret that I've learned, a tool that can help them. So that path might still yet be unwritten and untold, but that's my story. And I'm excited to speak it out loud.
I'm I'm shocked that by you sharing that story, I've never even thought about the physicality of the
Yeah.
hospitality business, like what we go through on a daily basis, just thinking of it from an athletic standpoint of physical training and mental training, water, stretching. Like we never talk about any of that stuff.
And it's so important, and I did and do when you were, if I was your COO, it was, what was your water, what was your stretching. It's an athletic sport, and how many people, so many people in our industry, and you're right, maybe I just start there, and
Yeah,
I just
start
start to
there. Obviously,
just
I've never heard it. Why have
just
we not
we're
heard
you've heard it today,
it?
we're doing it.
That's
and and
phenomenal.
and with that, I'm excited to hear everybody's stories at the follow-up meeting. The call came through, I've got to take.
I wish we had smartphone video of you making that soccer play. That's the only wish that I have.
It was it was cut to, no, because never let the truth get in the way of a perfectly good story. Talk to you
Try
later, guys.
Joe's before
Bye,
the fall.
Jason. Fantastic. Thank you, Jason.
Thank
Stover,
you.
are you able to unmute?
Yeah, hey, just
Hey.
got off the call with our YouTube specialist.
Ah, sweet.
Did you guys know
Man,
we have a YouTube specialist on staff now?
we do. Multiple. Gavin's in that same boat.
Well, yeah, that's true. We're all
Yeah.
specialists.
Digital hospitality
Yeah.
specialist.
I just rejoined, so can you give me a prompt? I did
Yeah,
have a
sure.
previous career
What
path
was
if you
your
want me
yeah,
to.
what was your alternate career path?
Well, this was at one point this was my alternate career path because I was definitely thinking I was going to be in journalism, print forever. But before that, before journalism, I wanted to be in movies, movie making. Movies meant more to me than any art or most connections when I was growing up. I learned most of what I know and phrases and all sorts of strange things from movies. I was an only child and not really outgoing and all that. And even the friends I had like to sit around and watch movies. So for me, it was a no-brainer that that's what I wanted to get into from a young age. And it was very naive to think it's really easy to get into movie making, especially in the 90s. In the 90s, everything was expensive and the technology was really hard. And that really got in the way of me wanting to do it because I didn't see a reasonable path for me to make an expensive piece of art just for the sake of making it. So what I tried to do was get into screenwriting as a way to make a career out of it. And I did the whole thing that you're supposed to do. I read all the books, all the famous ones, all the non-famous ones. I entered contests. I wrote test screenplays. I wrote specs. I wrote features. I wrote shorts. And it just didn't work. I just kept spending money on mailings and submissions and meetings and stuff like that. And I realized that what I wanted to do was not a career. I wanted to make movies. I still want to make movies. I don't want movies to be my career. I love movies. I don't want that to be my career. And that was what I needed to learn. You can love something and you can devote half your time to it or more, and it's not your career. And that was the difference. I had to learn how to take what I loved and my skills and find a way to make it a career, thus creating value in the world and bringing money in for my home. And that's really what I'm trying to do. Art is art, it's great, but it's not creating value. What I do now, helping with digital storytelling, and even as a reporter, what I did was helping create value, helping people understand things and using my skills and love of storytelling for the greater good, not just to fulfill my ego and my love of art. And so I have learned to separate work and art in that sense. And I do think one day it'd be fun to make a movie because, unlike when I was a kid, the technology has caught up, and now all I need is a phone to make a movie if I really wanted to. So that's a really freeing idea to me. And musicians should take note too. Go back to playing music for the love of it, and you'll get more fans than if you're trying to make money off it.
It was awesome. We will make a movie. That's without a doubt, for sure.
Oh yeah, no question.
Obviously. Richard.
Yeah, I love this topic. I've also had the pleasure of, when Elizabeth was talking about her friend at the opera, what Elizabeth doesn't tell you is how beautiful her voice is. And we were in a shop and she just started to sing. And I hope maybe when we get to Christmas, we can have Elizabeth singing because her voice is special. And I wanted to share that. I think about my alternative career. And it's funny, I did a podcast with the Disruptive Chef. It came out yesterday. I'll share a link towards it over the next few days. And there was a moment where I had my own business. I trained as a chef. I had my own Thai food business. And for a while, I thought this is what I was going to do. I produced some really great Thai food. I just did it in the wrong location. And I changed and did different things. But I think that alternative career for me, I'm doing it now. I do what I love. I don't want an alternative career. I do what I love. And we talk about Ikigai a lot in here. I do what I love. It's branding, it's coaching, it's mentoring. I like helping people. And I think to myself, if I wasn't doing this, I think I'd be a bit miserable. I loved having my own Thai food business, but it wasn't the right thing for me. I am doing my alternative career and I love it.
Brilliant. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's a hard thing for an entrepreneur to, like, for me to think what was my I got to where I am right here where I am because this is the path
And
that I've chosen.
Sean,
Chosen.
I think there's that bit, there's that movie slide. I know we were talking about movies earlier. There's that movie Sliding Doors. What would have happened if I got on that underground train or metro for our North American friends? What would have happened if I got on it or not got on it? I don't want to have regrets. I
Yeah,
think life is so short. I don't want to have regrets, and I challenge everybody to have the same mindset. No
yeah,
regrets. Do
yeah.
something cool.
Couldn't
Don't be
agree.
boring.
Couldn't agree more. Heather Cox.
Yeah, so I um have been a jack of all trades, master of none for my entire life. And yes, I know the real quote is better than a master of one, but um the one career which I guess I would have been in for a while, if I did not get hurt on the job. I'm certified as a nursing assistant, and I worked at a Quaker nonprofit nursing home for a good 2 years. It was probably the most fulfilling job that I've ever had. I loved just, I have a soft spot for old people. Like my grandma was my best friend. But that's what I did for 2 years, and I loved it. And I didn't know what I wanted to do when I stepped into that role, right? I had already dropped out of University of Delaware for hotel restaurant management. I then went to Dell Tech for office management, and I dropped out there too. And I was just kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And so my mom had a friend who was the like director of nursing up at this nursing home. So I went and I took, I had to learn how to take care of old people. Like I would give the elderly showers and brush their teeth, and I would play piano for them, and we would watch Orson, what is that, Orson Welles, I think his name is, for on PBS, and I would give them pedicures and manicures and make sure they looked amazing when they went down to dinner, because like in the 20s and 30s, when that was their heyday, like they always dressed to the nines for dinner, but like not a lot of people, like, not a lot of the nursing assistants gave a shit. So, that was just always something to bring a little humanity back, because aging is really difficult. But I twisted my knee, which already exacerbated a lacrosse injury from high school. So I twisted my knee and I had to go basically like on medical leave. And I tried to go back, and I even went on light duty, and and I was rolling around in like a wheelchair, because I couldn't walk, but I still wanted to work. And so like I worked at the nurses stations, and helped hand out meds and would do paperwork, and but then my doctor wouldn't lift me from the light duty because my knee was still jacked, so they had to let me go because they needed somebody to help lift residents and move them and help them to lunch and stuff. And my best friend of, oh God, I don't even know now, like 15 years. I don't even know how long, a long time, longer than I've been in business. I think 17 years now. Because, I've been friends, I met her there. So I would probably be in nursing or working at a nursing home, helping the older generations feel more comfortable at end of care life. If I did not get hurt and kind of move into this, digital marketing space. So that would be my alternative career.
Very cool. Another hospitality, even pre digital storytelling. That's awesome, Heather. Scott Turner. Scott, are you with us?
Yes, sorry. Yeah, I think
You're
where I am
a
today is,
famous footballer.
well, there is a story about that, but I wasn't going to tell it. But yeah, I was on the books of Man City until I was 16, and I got turned down for pro contracts because I was too small, which is quite ironic now because I carry more pounds than I care to. But yeah, I used to train twice a week. My dad used to have to drive me across to Manchester from Leeds, which is about an hour on probably the worst motorway you could possibly imagine. And I used to play on a Saturday. Then I used to play for a local club on a Sunday. I used to play for my school at county level, which is like state level. And then yeah, at 16, I got turned down for being too small, and it completely killed my confidence and never played competitive football again. But I was going to tell you a better story than that, which was where I am today is something I never thought I would do. I watched my dad for years have his own business, and I always vowed that I'd never have my own business. I'd never employ people. It was just something that I watched him struggle through for quite a bit of time. And when I was in my last job, COO, I kind of realized that I wasn't really making an impact in terms of what I was doing and what I loved doing, which was opening restaurants and bars and being with teams on floors and being creative. And I left, and I remember walking around London one day and thinking, what do I do next? And suddenly I had this burning desire to do something for myself, and it was the right time and the right moment, and I made the jump. But that was the second time I did it. The first time I did it, I was in hotels. When I finished football, I went straight into hospitality. Always in hotels. In 2015, my next role was going to be to take on being a GM of a hotel, and I just realised I love restaurants and bars and food and drink, and completely pivoted from hotels into restaurants, and that's when I moved to the Middle East, and that's why I am where I am today, because I went into restaurants and it showed me a different side of the industry and gave me a very different way of career path from hotels, and that's where we are today. So yeah, I think that one's a bit more interesting than the first one.
I like them both. It's both stories are phenomenal. Thank you, Scott. Mercedes.
You know, this is so interesting for me because I wasn't raised by a traditional career path family. I was raised by entrepreneurs that sometimes held jobs, but for the most part, they just had businesses that they owned. So I'd never really had like a dream career. What I did learn though is that, and I learned it probably in the last 10 years, is that saying no to opportunity won't get you anywhere, and it definitely won't get you into something that you might be really passionate about. So I do question, I used to say no to like opportunities before. So I remember when I was working 3 bartending jobs way back in the day, and I had somebody say, you know, we really need a good worker in our office for construction, and eventually you would move up to a project manager. And the other day, I randomly thought about this thought, and I said, you know, I'm going to look up how much a project manager makes. And I was like, wow, how silly was I to say, essentially, I didn't say no, but I just kind of was like, oh, I work 3 jobs, I'm going to college, like, I don't have time, sorry, you know? But imagine if I would have took that opportunity. So now I'm so adamant of taking opportunities that are gifted to me, because I think that by taking opportunity, you don't know where it's going to take you, whether it's a lesson learned or a new perspective or even just a new position. I mean, I think it's so cool to embrace that. And yeah, I've never really had a dream job because I'd never really thought about having a job. I always thought that there were so many more ways to make money than just working for somebody else. And I work for somebody else now, but it's just always been something that it's a mindset shift.
That's great. Thank you, Mercedes. Eric Farrell.
Sorry, got too many tabs open. Man, I've wanted to be so many different things in my whole life, and never felt like I had it all figured out. I've been relating to a lot of these stories in different nuggets. That's why I like never going first. Thank you. Man, when I was a kid, I thought I was going to grow up to be an environmental lawyer because my dad worked for a GM plant, and I always hated seeing the smoke blowing up and out. And, you know, that faded eventually. Stuck with the lawyer thing for a while just because I was obsessed with Lamborghinis when I was a kid. And I wanted to grow up and get a Lamborghini. And now I don't want Lambo money. I, through college, kind of fell into the tech path. But before that, I graduated high school, signed up for college, and was ready to go to one of the biggest colleges in Indiana. And then at the last minute, the guy that was the drummer in my band in high school said, hey, do you want to stop everything that you're doing and apply for a totally new school and go live with me in Nashville, Tennessee, and go get an audio engineering degree? And I was like, hell yeah, let's do that. And so I went to the SAE Institute in Nashville and got an audio engineering degree that is now wildly outdated because if you don't keep up with it, you're a total dinosaur in that world. And I wish I had done that, but I guess that's all to say. Probably my first alternative career would have been audio engineering, not for music, but for the video game industry. I wanted to be that guy that they would go to say, all right, listen, we got these characters in this environment and we need sounds for all of these different creatures and these different weapons. And what happens when you hit this thing with that and go make up sounds for it. Because I loved Foley Studio stuff when I was a kid. I was obsessed with how they made sounds for movies. And when I figured out you can do the same thing for video games, at 19, I was like, well, this is absolutely the coolest thing in the world. There's nothing beyond this. I have to do that. And then I found out at the time there was nowhere to go to do that other than Chicago, New York, or California. And that was not going to happen. I didn't want to move that far away from my family. I'm kind of a homebody. We're a really close-knit family. So I was like, that's it. I'm staying. And so I didn't do anything with that. And all my life, people have told me that I got to go to culinary school. Well, that didn't really happen. tried to apply for culinary school once. Didn't get any farther than asking the admissions girl out on a date, but that was fun for the 10 minutes that it lasted. I should have gone to culinary school. I think I could have done well with that, but that left me because I wanted a family. One of the chefs said the only way you're going to have a family in the restaurant world is if you do corporate catering, because you might get a 9 to 5 gig in there. So I kind of ruled that one out. And college happened, tech career happened, and I got the IT degree, I got the tech career, and that really wasn't where I needed to be either, because I didn't want to be an employee. I don't fit with that, but I followed the traditional path because that's what I was raised with. So now, being broken up with from the corporate world because it dumped me, I think I'm living the alternative career path for me. I'm starting my entrepreneurial journey. I've started a business that's going to marry my passion with food and talking to people and my obsession with technology and my writing skill. And I can go help people with that. And I'm excited to see where this goes and what I can build with it. And I'm extremely extroverted. I get energy from talking to people. I get fired up like I'm on 6 pots of coffee when I get on this call and talk to you guys. I love it. And I can't wait to get going to these conventions. So yeah, I think this is my alternate career path, and there's going to be a lot more after this. That jack of all trades and master of none thing is true for me. So that's my story.
That's awesome, Eric. We're grateful to have you in the community, man. And welcome, Temi Tope and Tristan. Welcome down below. We see you guys if you want to join us on stage. Love to hear your voices and hear your story. Just raise your hand and we can bring you up on stage. Dean LeBay, your alternative career path.
Oh, Sean, I really don't know how to answer this one. Growing up born in 1960, so growing up in the 70s, is way before technology. My dad was a master machinist, and a sales job was not that was frowned upon. That was he thought I was a con. But anyway, I worked in banking when I was in high school, and I always would notice these cars that come by and take a look at them. So, what I do on my spare time, I'd go ask these people that I figured were successful. I said, well, how did you make your money? Because I wanted to drive a nice car and I wanted to have all the good things in life. And the same answer came up every time. You got to be in sales. That's where the money's at. This money's in sales. So basically, my alternative path, my path's a little different than most. What I really wanted to do was I wanted to be the person that can make a difference in other people's lives through the ministry of Jesus Christ way back when. And things happened to me. It just didn't go that way. And so I reverted back to what these guys had told me that said sales. So I majored in marketing in college, and that's how I got to where I'm at. I'm good at sales. Sales is where I'm comfortable. I like helping people. I like making sure that they get all the information they need so they can make an educated decision. They win, I win. I get a check, and it pays good. Being a pastor of a church I don't know, it didn't pay that well. And I just wanted to be a daddy. I mean, I wanted to have children and be a good father and be a good husband. That was my alternative career, if you want to call it that. I just wanted to live life the best I could and hopefully inspire or motivate somebody to do the same. So that's it. I don't know what you call that, maybe motivational speaker, but anyway, that's it. Thanks.
That's awesome, Dean. Appreciate you. Troy Hooper, welcome to the party. Did you have an alternative career path that you'd like to share with the group?
My entire fucking life is an alternative career path. I didn't plan any of this shit. How's that for an answer? Is that what everybody else has said, by the way?
Yeah. Is this not your master plan?
No. Well, now it is, but it's the master plan of the current phase of my life. I developed a master plan to maximize the potential of the current situation. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. What has everybody else said? What do you? I don't know what the answer is actually.
Jason Berkowitz wanted to be a serial killer, but it didn't work out.
Well, what I wanted, yeah. So what I wanted to be, yeah, I wanted to be a chef and own restaurants. you could say that, I'm certainly in that realm of the world, but I'm not a chef anymore, and I don't own restaurants. That's not to say that I won't own restaurants very fucking soon. The reason I'm late to this meeting is I was writing an offer letter to buy a restaurant. But my life's a little nutty. Yeah, look, I wanted to be a cop, and then I wanted to be a Coast Guard helicopter pilot, and then I wanted to be a yacht captain, which I did make that happen. And I did that part time and then full time for some time. But yeah, I don't know. I've always just looked at the world as full of possibilities. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a connector. I'm a person that wants to make my own way. And so working at a desk 9 to 5 in Dayton, Ohio, in a blue building with P&G on the top of it scared the shit out of me. So I ran as far and fast as I could, and I had no plan. And my life has basically been no plan ever since. That sort of out of college corporate career path that I started down. And all I can tell anybody that matters is you will live a life of purpose and satisfaction if what you choose to do every day is fulfilling, is empowering, is exciting, is interesting, that you have passion for. So follow your passion. I mean, if that's the intent of this room, is to eliminate the fact that almost nobody says, I want to be and do this and does it and has pure and complete fulfillment in their life. I'm grateful and excited for all the people who can say that that's true for them. But I've met very, very few of those humans in my life. Most people, if you ask them how they got here today, it sure shit was not a straight road. And they have a lot of forks and dips and dives and holes and hurricanes and fires and divorces and all kinds of crap get in the way of what you thought was your plan. So I think the answer to all of this is look internally, know what you are, know what you believe, know what you want, and create a life that honors that, because you'll have the most fulfilled, satisfied, and rewarding life. And does that mean you're going to be a millionaire or billionaire? Maybe not, probably not. But that shouldn't be the goal. The goal should be a happy life. So that's my thought.
That's awesome. It reminds me of a quote that David Meltzer, my mentor, taught me. He was interviewing the co-founder of GoDaddy, and everyone knows the quote of, if you learn to love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And his take on this quote was, if you learn to love what you do, it will show you all its secrets. If you learn to love what you do, it will show you all its secrets. Um, there's something powerful about finding that path and working through that path and knowing that you're on that path despite all the indicators of, maybe I shouldn't be, maybe for me, it's those rejection letters from law school. It was actually more painful to present those rejection letters to my grandfather than it was me actually getting rejected, because I just knew that somehow, some way I would figure out what I was doing. And what we're doing now, I mean, we're on a LinkedIn live call that started on Clubhouse, and this is one of the most important things that we do every single week. So thank you guys for giving us the space to talk about these things. Michael Beck, go for it.
I'm going to go quick because I know we're at the top of the hour here. My original purpose in life was, as a kid, I wanted to be a super spy submarine captain. That hasn't worked out. But to the point of
What did
we
you
have a lot.
say?
I
A
wanted to be a
super
super
spice?
spy
Oh,
submarine
super
captain.
super spy.
Super spy. Well, when I was a
Like,
kid, my grandpa,
Red October,
my
Hunt for Red October.
we'll fight
That's the
for
movie
it,
he
I'm for
watched that
sure.
influenced.
Oh, yes,
got
I'm
it.
for sure. Yes, one
Got it.
ping only, Vasily. But my grandpa
Isn't
was
that a 6-hour movie?
what's that?
Isn't that a 6-hour movie?
It's no, it's
No,
about
no,
two and a
it's long.
half. It's Connery at his prime. But when I was a kid, my grandpa was a dignitary for the UN, and we were in Geneva, and I wasn't allowed to go on the peace conferences. This is back in the 70s, and so I had an au pair that used to watch me when he'd go, and this was for about 2 weeks. And so one day I get back home to the States to my folks, and I get one of those blue and white striped letters that you used to get from Europe if you were communicating with anybody there, and it was a newspaper clipping my grandma sent, and it was Russian spy run out of country. and it was my au pair. And so ever since, I've had like a fascination with James Bond and spy culture and all that stuff. And Troy Hooper, that's probably why I carry around that little device, because I'm still living that in some way,
You
shape, or form.
are a fucking super spy. I have no doubt about it.
Yes. So
I'm gonna start calling you when I need like the TV changed in the bar and they got some shitty basketball game on and I want to watch something else.
the
I'm gonna call you.
programming of the Sky Lounge sucks. Get here, backstat. But I mean, the thing is I'd like to claim that I was a great student. I wasn't. I was shit in school, and it wasn't that I wasn't curious and I wasn't a great learner, but I just didn't fit in the right, template that most people do. And then later on in life, in my 50s, I find out I'm ADHD, and the whole world says no shit. But the cool thing is after I had a really big enjoyment of selling into the corporate world from B2B B2B sales and helping restaurants. And it's one place I figured out a lot of stuff, that I'm great at cracking codes and being really creative and engaging people. And I think there's a lot of folks out here that do some of the stuff we do that might have that same spiciness. So what I do, I've evolved also. The Broken Road took me from being a chef, being in the military, being a chef, then going into software sales. And now the evolution I think I'm just happy at and don't want to change is I like being an entrepreneur that helps people and growing businesses, and I get to use every bit of who I am authentically. And I say fuck you out of that. Like, this is the first time in my life I've actually been able to be me and own it, and it is amazing. I don't know if that resonates, but thank you
It
for
does.
letting me speak.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic. Appreciate you, Michael.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and go around the room. Tip, takeaway, homework assignment. Thank you all for being here. Reminder, every Wednesday, every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Invite a friend, bring a friend. We're trying to grow this community every way that we can. So, Elizabeth, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Just jumping back to, I think it was Stover that said, still make the music. Like, there's still parts of these alternative things that could be infused into your now. And so I even sat at the piano today and was writing something. And so I think that including it as an outlet, like he was saying. Anyway, back to you, Sean.
Awesome. Michael?
Yeah, I think what Troy said about just your path and different directions you're going just started getting me thinking about the last 15, 20 years and all the different places that took me to where I am now. It was a cool reflecting point. Also want to say, please feel free to DM me on LinkedIn if you have any topics that you'd like to discuss. Thank you, Richard. You submitted one for me that we have, and we'll get up and running over the course of the next month. So appreciate that. Yeah, any topics that you're feeling that you want to bring to the group, please send me a DM.
Also, Richard, would you like to host that topic? It's always great if you come up with the idea to host the room as well.
I'm going to be
Brilliant.
co-hosting it with my partner in crime, Mr.
Beautiful.
Scott Turner. British
Even better.
Takeover.
British Takeover. I can't wait. I'll educate you on that call. Hopefully, if I'm available, I will bring you some American slang to return the favor. Gavin, go ahead. Take away homework assignment.
Yeah, actually, Richard had a great video this morning about having fun with what you do, and basically turn what you're doing every day into fun, and it won't feel like work, right? I mean, think about how much fun did Sean Connery have when he was told he could play a Russian submarine captain but keep his Scottish accent. So have fun with what you're doing. That's everyone's homework assignment. Attack each day with that same enthusiasm.
Amazing. Great stuff. Stover, are you able to unmute? If not, Troy Hooper, takeaway homework assignment. No Troy Hooper. There he is.
In a city. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can now.
Can you hear me now? When you're in a city that has a reputation, or you think you know what the best cuisine that you should enjoy while in a particular region of any place, don't discount the possibility that the best meal you'll have in that city has nothing to do with it. All credit to Zach Oates, who took me and Greg Majewski to lunch yesterday. And now I'm part of Zach Oates' permanent story. He's only ever eaten at the same restaurant 2 times during the same trip, and he travels constantly, right? So he's never gone back to the same restaurant twice during a trip anywhere he's ever gone, except for 3 times in his life. And yesterday was one of those times where he took Greg Majewski and I to a very, very small back alley Italian restaurant, and it was some of the best food any of us had had in a very long time. And we eat out every day, right? And you would not come to Nashville, Tennessee, and think, "Oh, I'm going to seek out what's the best little Italian spot downtown." And this was just absolute craftsmanship to its highest. We watched them making all of the stuff for the dinner service while they made our lunch. And my God, the service was incredible and the food was incredible. And they brought over a complimentary dish to have us try it. They were working on something new. But yeah, you come to Nashville and you think Southern food and fried chicken and Nashville hot chicken and all these things. And you would never go out of your way to seek out an Italian spot. And I'm really glad Zach got to introduce it. So I would encourage everybody to open your mind. And when you go somewhere, don't just focus on the local specialties, but be open-minded to what other craftsmanship's available to you.
Was that an intentional omission?
What do you mean?
When I go to Nashville, I go to Murfreesboro directly from Nashville.
Oh, no. I go to Murfreesboro this afternoon, actually shortly after this call. I'm on my way to Murfreesboro. So no, the conference just ended. I'm here for another day, and I will be spending my evening with the Eblin family, Charlie Eblin, Single Tree Barbecue. We're going out to dinner and having fun. But yeah, I saw Nicole. Nicole spent half the day with us yesterday, and all the fun and all the people. And we went out to Tootsie's at midnight last night. So we did all the Nashville things except for I didn't do the hot chicken because I don't do spicy.
Fair enough. Thank you, Troy. Great story. The food looked incredible, by the way. Whatever Zach was showing, it did look incredible. Richard, takeaway, homework assignment.
Yeah, I just really enjoyed hearing people's stories. And it reminded me of working with a client today. And what's really nice is when people share stories rather than adverts. I've got a friend in San Diego that says, "Be the show, not the commercial." And as a mindset, it's really, really nice. And it was just really great hearing everybody's stories. I still like the idea of being a 007. I've got the accent, but that's about it.
I love it, Richard. Thank you. Mercedes, takeaway, homework assignment.
Takeaway is going to be make the impossible possible and manifest your dream career, whatever path that may be.
Awesome. Thank you, Mercedes. Eric Farrell.
Man, you guys always give me so much to think about. Hearing all these stories, really, I needed this. I needed to hear nobody really has everything figured out. And no matter how high up in the game are, people are still making things up as they go. And that's okay. And you don't have to have a defined path right out of the gate. And that takes a lot of pressure off that I've been dealing with for 30 years. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that. Dean LeBay.
Yes. Takeaway. I don't know. I guess basically, you never know what somebody's going through, and make the difference in at least one person's life today, whether it's a smile or hi, how you doing. Be kind to other people. The world's spinning. We got a new leader of the free world coming up soon, and so just be kind to each other. Thanks.
Thank you, Dean. Michael Beck.
Michael Beck here. Yes. My takeaway is reinvention. I'll say that one today, right? It's okay to reinvent yourself. And everybody's talked about this idea of re-identifying, reinventing them, and you're a different person at a different time in your life. And so I love the fact that this group knows that they can grab onto that moment they're a different person. They may be the right person for a new role or a new direction, or even as maybe a leader or family member, right? But it's okay to reinvent yourself. And we have full license to do that as many times as we see fit or that we need to. And the last part is I have a friend out there that's struggling with being able to take some actions and looking at master plan and getting it right. We also have to take swings. Take your swing. If you're going to do it, take your swing. Swing hard, swing for the fences, and do it as many times as you need to also. That's
amazing. Thank you, Michael. Happy that you're safe. Wish you a quick cleanup, recovery, all the people in Florida, all the hospitality people.
Yeah, I kept
Tough.
getting kicked off because my generator kept spiking and it kept dumping me off the call.
Oh, well, we appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Michael, do you have off the top of your head or in the drive
Yes.
what next Wednesday's call will be?
Yes, it took me 3 times, but I was prepared with the tab open.
Fantastic.
I
Go for
figured
it.
it out. What is your biggest strength and weakness at work?
Biggest strength, biggest weakness at work. Next Wednesday, bring a friend. Thank you all. Have an awesome weekend. We are all weirdly available, so reach out to anybody here on the platform. And thank you. Thank you all.
We're
Elizabeth.
all weirdly. There we go.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
We can just
See
cut
ya,
the
Gavin.
episode there. Yeah, we'll do that. We're all
Bye.
weird and then cut.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you,
all
everybody.
weird. That's true too. All right,
Richard,
guys.
you and I are gonna be super spies.
There you go.
I can't wait. As long as
Get
we
it.
can avoid that Jason Berkovich at Halloween, he sounds scary.
Yeah, you're my Q. You're Q. Jason's gonna be the Black Ops guy. We'll just drop him in to solve the problems. We got this whole thing. It's gonna be great.
There you go.
Yeah,
I love
keep
it.
that in, please, guys. Whoever cuts this, yeah, please keep that in. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Bye.
Great room.
Bye.
Just don't let Jason cut anybody.